All right. I'll come back to both my guests. Now, the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs has released a statement following the capture of Maduro. The statement reads, and I quote, "The government of Japan has consistently emphasized the importance of restoring democracy in Venezuela as soon as possible." I'm coming to you, Glenn. Glenn Grant, of course, he's joining me from Latvia. Now, Glenn, the question is that, there are some ways in which Maduro will be tried. Do you think, when it comes to America, Trump usually does not, surely he wouldn't listen to the other countries really. He has a mind of his own and he's going to do what he wants. But do you think that, certain conditions will apply to the legal proceedings that are now going to be happening in the US?
No. I think that you've seen in the last year plus, or the last year, that basically American legal proceedings are almost bipolar. You have the Democrats on one side who are trying to keep the law, and then you have the Republicans on the other side who are trampling over the law as Trump is trampling over the law. So this is going to be a run by the Republican side, and they will get a conviction on Maduro whatever happens. So I don't think that Maduro is going to be a free man for very much longer. And I don't see that the world or anybody else is going to actually to affect what happens in the courts. I think the Americans would not have done this if they didn't believe that they already had sufficient evidence over the last 5-10 years, in fact, of Maduro's guilt. Most of that evidence is electronic, so phone tapping and CIA work with talking to people inside Venezuela and talking to Americans who are dealing with the Venezuelans. So they must have enough evidence. So I don't see that this is going to be a long drawn out trial. I think each case will come up and the evidence will be presented, and then that in quick fashion, and then that will be it. It's what happens then is really important. I mean, I like the Japanese have actually said we want democracy, but how do you get democracy when the large part of the government and the system in Venezuela are Maduro's people? So is America going to kill all of those? They're not going to get removed. Most of them will hang on till grim death for their seats. So whatever happens to Maduro, they will just write that off and just carry on doing what they're doing, making money and running the country for their own ends. So I think we've got a long way to go yet in this. And I don't think that the court case will make much difference, except perhaps to stiffen resolve of Maduro's people inside Venezuela.
That's a very well-made point, and I want to go across to Satoru Nagao now. He's joining me from Japan. Satoru, now, with the stepping in of the United Nations, how do you see, because we're concluding with yours and my other guest thoughts really, I am going to ask you and Glenn for your concluding thoughts. What do you foresee happening in the future?
Happening in the future in the United Nations was an international related issue is it rely on the power. If the US is only superpower, for example, the situation in 1990s, that time the United Nations based on international law work very well. Because that time the US assures this law. When the humanitarian intervention are common that time, and that time, because people talk in the United Nations, people can agree, because the US assured this law, this system. Indeed, law is something like that. In the domestic law, for example, the currency is one example. One paper is $1, another paper is $100. Why? Because the government assured this. So that's why both in reality is both are just a paper. But this is a ticket the government assured $100 or $1. So it looks like the law rely on the power. So in this case, now current world, especially about the United Nations, especially about the international law, who provides power is the mother. And in this case, we cannot find. So that's why in this case, just we need to talk about power is the current trend we are working. And so if we see someone who will be the clear picture winner of this competition, strategic competition, of course that time we will find someone who provide the power to the law. But without this, during that strategic competition process, firstly, we need to win. That is maybe current course we are working. So that's why we see we need a strategy and we need military power. That is my recent trend, I think.
All right. We're short of time now, so I'll have to conclude. But Glenn,